After spending 51 days trapped in the mangroves, we just crossed a massive milestone and are on our way to freedom. But those 51 days were absolutely brutal. We endured the heat, the setbacks, the failures, the solitude, and all the meanwhile we guarded and prepped our hurricane-damaged catamaran like our lives depended on it. Then finally, on day 49, we had a crane come out to flip our boat. But during the process, the rope snapped and we watched our dreams sink right before our eyes, which was heartbreaking because we just spent our entire life savings on it and this boat was perfectly dry on the inside. But the only way to get out of this nightmare was to keep on fighting. On day 51, our hope was restored as we towed our boat out of the mangroves with our chests high and headed into the anchorage to tie up next to our current boat for the final voyage. The plan is to tow the catamaran down to Grenada to Spice Island Marine to make the final repairs, and the only thing that stands between us is 40 miles of open ocean.
Well, it's 1:30 in the morning. We are about to go to the cat, finish strapping everything down, set up the bridle, and take off for Grenada. So probably need another hour-ish.
Yeah.
And then we should be picking up anchor and heading out. Yeah, we're a bit tired, but 1.5 more days and then we're on an airplane to the US because we have some family to go visit. And yeah, we really put ourselves on a deadline here. Seems to be a trend with us.
Okay, so let me paint the picture. The catamaran only sank 2 nights ago and we've been going non-stop ever since. We spent all of yesterday and today cleaning up the mangroves. Then we towed the boat out and only a few hours ago we packed it up. And now we're about to pull an all-nighter so we can make our haul out and catch our flights. Basically, we haven't had time to dig through the boat and the structure is one big question mark. We have plywood covering up the old sail drive holes, spray foam in the exhaust pipes, a broomstick shoved into a broken through hole to prevent it from leaking, a front crossbeam that's cut in half and lashed together with ropes, a mast and hardtop that are in pieces and strapped to the top like cargo. There's no electronics, no engines, and no bilge pumps. She's basically a piece of fiberglass with a steering wheel and is about as seaworthy as a Craigslist special. And now, we're gonna tie it up to our monohull and tow it 40 miles south down to the southern tip of Grenada. As far as the weather, well, that's looking good, but we still don't know what we're gonna run into when we get out there. I'd say we have a decent amount of miles under our belt in this region, and we've never seen anything below 3-foot seas between the islands, even on a calm day, so we're making sure everything is strapped down tight.
Well, it is time. We have the whole entire boat strapped down. We have anchor chain out for the bridle to help with any jerking, I guess. And Ralph's pulling up the chain right now. I'm gonna go give him a bridle rope. We're gonna attach the boats together, and we are out of Carriacou on our way to Grenada. This is gonna be very interesting, so fingers crossed for us that it all goes well. Coming in hot.
"3:30 in the morning and we are just taking off. Sasha's handing me the bridle here. I'm gonna back up to the catamaran. She's gonna hand me a long rope and we're gonna attempt to motor out. Luckily it's a calm night, but there's a lot of boats over here. Sasha has no reverse and we're about to tow her out with this
I have no forward
boat.
either.
She has no forward either, so we just gotta get speed and go.
Okay, I'm gonna go grab you that tow rope.
All right. So here's where things get difficult. It is a very dark night and there are a lot of boats in the anchorage. So now we gotta tie ours together and weave out of here. So to do this, Sasha took the dinghy over to the catamaran. I picked up the anchor on the monohull and then reversed close enough so that she could throw me a rope. After that, she would need to disconnect the mooring ball and then we would need to get on our way before we start drifting into other boats. The tricky part is that I actually have to go fast enough so Sasha can steer the catamaran. Too slow and the rudders won't make the boat turn. But if I make one wrong move, or don't see a boat, or catch a mooring ball, or run aground, well, Sasha has no brakes. And on a dark night like tonight, we usually have someone on the front with a spotlight guiding us out. Good?
Yep.
Sorry guys, you're just gonna have to imagine I gotta cut this blue light so I can see. Our icing glass isn't the clearest right now, so I need to be able to see all these boats. We untied, and then it was time to start our journey. First, we had to straighten up the boats before we got some speed, and then we began easing our way out of the anchorage. There was absolutely no moon tonight, and you gotta understand that half these boats that are out here just got pulled out of the mangroves themselves and don't have any anchor lights. Basically, it was tough to see anything till you were right up on it, but luckily, due to editing software, you guys will have a better view than we did. The shallowest spot, it says. I'm gonna go back this way, to the left. Don't turn the wheel too sharp. All right, we are still passing a couple mooring balls, but we pretty much made it out of here. Got a couple more boats to pass, and then we're in open ocean.
Well, we are on our way. Managed to weave out of the anchorage. We're gonna get out here and Ralph is gonna put the bridle on Spirit Animal so we have a little bit more distance because right now we're probably only 50 feet apart and I have no brakes. So I wanna give ourselves a little bit more buffer room. But yeah, it's going pretty smoothly so far. We have to hand steer on this boat, of course, so we're gonna actually switch back and forth every few hours, give each other a little bit of a break. Yeah, we have about 10 hours ahead of us. So if you can tell, Ralph is right here. Right now we're only towing off of our starboard side cleat, and that was just to get out of the anchorage. There was some boats we had to weave around, so now he's tying up that second bridle from Spirit Animal so we can tow more center of the boat and have a little bit more distance between the two of us.
Pretty even. Once we started moving, we realized our boat wasn't reaching full RPMs. It's mostly because the bottom of our boat is filthy right now, but I'm sure towing a catamaran doesn't help either. Okay, I'm gonna disconnect it. All right, so we put a high-powered alternator on the boat. It takes like 5 extra horsepower, and the bottom of our boat is so dirty right now. We need all the horsepower we can get, so we cut the wire. Sasha's about to push me because we're now drifting out in the middle of the ocean, almost into each other. Saved by a couple feet. I didn't want to put the boat in forward because when I went down there to cut the wire, the boat drifted back and we're over top of the ropes and I didn't want it to get in the prop. So now Sasha is gonna give me a boost so we can get these lines tight without getting them tangled in the prop. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, it's caught on the rudder. Can you grab it from that end? I'm gonna disconnect it. Follow that back and then go get the other rope for me. Thank you, ma'am. See you in the morning.
Good morning.
Good thing we did not try to force our way out of that one because we would have been swimming here in 1,000 feet of water. We're not too far offshore, but it gets deep quick out here. I don't know, I'd say we're half a mile off maybe. So we were going like 2,000 RPMs before. Of course, I don't know, we got one of those folding props and it might be so dirty it doesn't do the folding thing. It might be stuck in turbo mode. I did clean it earlier. It should be moving. Other than that, I think it's just the bottom of the boat. That's why we're not reaching RPM. Hopefully that alternator, disconnecting that, gave us enough boost to where we can move a little faster because we were going 4 knots with the throttle all the way down, and that is very slow and a lot of torque on the engine that we don't want. So, okay, clear of the props and the rudder, back in gear. Let's get this thing going. Gonna slowly get some tension on these lines. Oh yeah. We're getting a lot more torque out of the engine now without that alternator on. That is good. Now we can go a little faster. RPMs are really good now. Of course, the autopilot hasn't been able to calibrate, but I'm hoping that's because we were only pulling from one cleat. Here we go. We finally had the bridle set up, the engine was reaching healthy RPMs, and we are now ready to set off on our 40-mile journey.
Well, the sun is starting to rise. It's about 5:30 in the morning. and we still have a long way to go. But we're about to have a beautiful sunrise.
Right now we are going 5.3 knots. We are 30 miles from Spice Island Marine where we're taking the boat. The whole trip in general is about 38, 40 miles. Both of us are hand steering. This autopilot isn't working because we're towing a boat, and she doesn't have autopilot or engines or anything. So she's just back there hanging on for the ride and steering the boat, following me. Right now we've got about 200 feet of rope in between us with 50 foot of chain coming off that boat acting as a shock absorber. So instead of that rope getting real tight, the weight of the chain holds it down low, and then as the boats get tight, it brings it up real slow and gentle so you don't get that jerking feeling. So far, we couldn't ask for any better conditions. Of course, we wanted to put the sails up and have the Kraken sailing this boat down, which would have been really cool, but that would have been pretty sketchy, especially with the waves and the wind and the rope getting tight and stuff. So it's going very smooth right now, and I'm not complaining. Damn, bro, caught me doing selfies on camera. That's a rare sight, rare sight. Sasha needs a coffee, so we're gonna switch places. Sasha's gonna come here. So I got the boat in idle. She's just gonna get in the dinghy and zip right over.
Okay, we're gonna switch. Ralph just went to a stop. About to hop in the dinghy and go back to the other boat.
Despite being dead tired and looking like the Beverly Hillbillies of the Caribbean, we were absolutely lit up being back on the water. Free at last after a 51-day emotional roller coaster from hell. And this water and that beautiful sunrise is the only therapy we needed to get back on track. It's moments like this that makes the chaos seem worth it. There's no guidebook, no manual, or no instructions for what we've been going through. I mean, you could probably combine a couple together, but even if there was one specific manual for what we're doing right now, I don't think we'd read it. And I don't know if that's because we like the challenge, because we enjoy doing things the hard way, or just because we're slow readers. But all I know is that it feels damn good not to have to follow anyone else's rules. Regardless, we wouldn't have it any other way because somehow it always seems to work out, especially when we keep our eyes forward and the past behind us. I mean, let's take right now, for instance. All we can think about is this catamaran. Not about what it put us through, not about its current condition, but what it's going to become. Our wrecked nightmare turned back into our dream boat. We're going to make it lighter, we're going to make it smarter, we're going to make it faster, and we're going to make it stronger. Then we're going to hoist the main, raise our flag, and sail it around the world like we stole it. Well, probably the worst thing that could happen on a day like today, although it's great weather for it, but the engine died. We were literally sitting here. Just got to the northern point of Grenada, still got 25 miles to go. Let's go see what the problem is. What'd you do, Sash?
I feel like the engine just... Unplug the the regulator, and then it would turn over but not start. So then I plugged the regulator back in and it was turning over, but it was like sounding really bad.
Oh shoot. We got an oil leak.
That's a pretty good one.
Oh shit, that's hot. That is super hot. Smoking hot. Our alternator literally just locked up and we are sitting here floating offshore because this is the only engine we have.
Well guys, our trip has taken a quick pause. I noticed that the alternator was running and Ruff had disconnected the power. I shut off the engine and went to unplug it, which I was just trying to figure out how to not have the alternator charging the batteries because it bogs down the engine. And then when I went to turn the engine back on, it was making a really weird sound and the alternator seized up. So we're floating out here on the northern tip of Grenada and we have to change our alternator back to our old one. And we've already done a serpentine conversion, so we put the old belt back on as well. This may take a second. Oh boy.
Putting on a shirt to prevent dripping sweat everywhere. The shirt will absorb it.
It is warm out, very warm.
Thank God the seas are calm.
Yeah, real.
This could have sucked. We were on a deadline to make it to our haul out on time, so we got straight to work. The oil leak was coming from a little gasket behind the oil filter, which we didn't have, so we topped off the oil and figured we would fix it later. Then came the long process of waiting for our little fan to cool off the alternator enough so we could actually touch it and remove it. During this time, we got out the parts for the old alternator as well as the pulleys so we could convert it all back to a V-belt. And 45 minutes later, when we checked it, we realized the alternator cooled off and had shrunk back to its original size and was spinning again. So we decided to crank it up and see what happened. And sure enough, it cranked right up and was running just fine. We don't know why it ever got hot because we cut the switch wire on the regulator, but this time we double checked that it wasn't making power and then we crossed our fingers and continued our journey. Back in action.
Back in action. We had our alternator lock up and we ran out of gas at the same time. Well, diesel at the same time because we forgot to switch the tanks this morning when we were trying to leave at 3 a.m. So what a coincidence that was. But we got Kat coming to check out what's going on. Don't worry, we're gonna be on our way soon. Yeah, we have about 20 miles left. We're still trying to make our haul out at 2 p.m. So fingers crossed that the rest of the trip goes smoothly. I'm gonna knock on wood for that, just in case. Ready? Well, we have some weather coming in. I was hoping it was going to stay over the island, but wind's starting to pick up. I think we'll be fine, but it's bringing in some nice, cool air. It has been so hot today, so I'm not mad about it.
Well, we have just rounded the southwest point of Grenada here. We've come up, we've hit a current where it's like we're on a treadmill right now, but Spice Island is right up here on the left. We got our good buddy Chase Lamax coming out to help us. He's gonna bring his dinghy. We're gonna anchor the sailboat and then we're gonna get this boat into the haul out slip with the two dinghies. Speaking of Chase, there he is. Pretty bad, huh?
I just did the paint job, man. I didn't know you were getting the motor cut.
Yeah, we might keep it that way.
Hell yeah, dog. Yeah, this is not just a 450, this is a nice 450.
2020, baby.
Holy
Chase, everybody. Chasing Grace.
What's up, everybody?
Is here to help us out.
Dude, you're insane. Holy crap.
It turned into...
You seem exhausted. Are you exhausted?
Oh my God, we didn't sleep last night. We literally left. We left at like 3 in the morning.
You know, Raph, no one else is going to say this to you, but I really like it.
It's big. So yeah.
Are you still taking on water?
No, we just haven't pumped it out.
Oh, then you're golden.
Yeah.
Dude, this is like your dream with your skills and your carpentry.
But the crane company sank the boat, so that was a big deal. Originally, it was upside down in the mangroves, perfectly dry. The floor you're walking on was on the ceiling.
Wait, I'm sorry, the first time you toured it, was it upside down?
Yeah. Yeah, it was in the mangroves, upside down.
I can't wait to see that.
This is like the first day, this is like one of the first days we've walked on the floors. We've been walking on the ceilings for the last like 2 months, dude. Since that carry coup.
Can I climb over there?
Yeah.
Go down there? I want to see. Bro, this is a massive boat. I like the layout of it too.
3 cabin.
Yeah, no, that's what you want, dude. That's
Got the big owner.
insane.
Yeah. Chase is excited.
Okay, what can I do to help?
Well, we made it to Prickly Bay. As you can see, we're hauling the cat out ASAP because we don't need anything happening to that boat.
So what we have to do now is detach the boats and then go anchor the monohull. While we're doing that, Chase is going to use his dinghy to make sure our catamaran doesn't run into any other boats in the anchorage. Then we'll come back to the catamaran, take it into Spice Island Marine, and then head back out and go get our monohull.
See you later!
All right, so Sasha just disconnected us. We are free floating right now. She's gonna go anchor the boat over there, and then we're gonna take this thing to Spice Island Marine, get it hauled out.
That's where I'm going. Time to go get the cat in the haul out slip.
Good job, Chase.
I looked up, I was like, did they really both just leave immediately?
Yeah, good luck, man. Get it in the slip for us.
Yeah, I got it, guys, don't worry.
We made it! We made it to Prickly Bay. We still got to get it in the slip, but man, that was a long 40-mile trip.
That was.
Especially the last hour, it was a slog through a 2-knot current. But she's here. Well, we are on the cat. Rolf is pushing from the stern, and I'm steering the boat now that we got some speed. Chase is here as well. Rolf is gonna push me, and then once we get closer to the slip, Chase is actually gonna hit it in reverse so we can slowly work our way into the slip because we're pretty much at the max width of what they can handle. But we'll show you guys that in just a moment. See how tight it actually is. I got some speed.
It is crazy how quickly life can change. I mean, 2 months ago, we had no clue we'd be in this situation. Then life took a hard left, and instead of running, we leaned into it. Well, that detour led us to 51 days in the mangroves, then probably down a 2-year path in a direction we had no clue we'd ever be going. But that's the beauty of life's adversities. We know this haul out doesn't mean the hard part's over. In fact, it's just the next chapter that might be harder than the last one. But what's an adventure without a good challenge?
We made it. Great job, guys.
You too.
Thank you.
Captain.
I think we should be okay.
Okay, cool.
How you doing? I'm Paul.
Paul, Raphael, nice to meet you.
Welcome.
That's Sasha.
Hi. How you doing?
We'll probably be here for a while.
Oh yeah.
As we slowly moved the catamaran into the haul-out slip, I felt like I could finally breathe again. The last 53 days had been a physical and emotional battle. We suffered many setbacks, challenges, and doubt. And there were plenty of times where we questioned ourselves and wondered if any of this was even worth it. Between all the sleepless nights, stolen gear, the boat sinking, and constant hurdles, it felt like we were finally turning a corner. And check this out. While we were towing the boat from Carriacou down to Grenada, Ralph sent a photo to the big shot of the catamaran upside down in the water. And it turns out he does have a heart. He knocked off $30,000, which is the price he had fluffed into his quote for the cost of his crane, taking the price from $110,000 to $80,000, which is definitely a little easier to live with. But now it's time to throw on the work boots because we've got one hell of a rebuild ahead of us. It's time to take this sunken wreck and turn it into the dream boat that's gonna take us around the world.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, we're walking to the cat. We got a short nap and some food in us, which definitely gave us a significant amount of energy.
I ain't having that.
Ralph didn't have a nap. I slept pretty hard for like 30 minutes and I woke up ready to go. So we're headed to the cat. We're leaving tomorrow afternoon, but we only have a few hours in the morning really to get.
Tomorrow at 3, we gotta be at the airport.
By like noon.
1.
1.
Or noon, yeah.
So we are going to finish or try to get some more electrical wiring sprayed off with electrical cleaner, pump out any water that's left, and just kind of organize everything so that way we can leave for 2 weeks and not stress about stuff getting wet and just dusty in the yard, you know? Yeah. Wow. It's a big boat.
Yeah.
It's big out of the water. The only time we've ever been on her on land was upside down. Every time I'm like, okay, wait, everything's backwards. Flip it all upside down again.
I think we're gonna do it. We're doing it, baby!
Last day! Oh, gross!
Do you see the potential? I don't know, man.
What's up, guys? We are down here in Grenada at Spice Island Marine. As you can see, Spirit Animal is hauled out. She's getting a little pampering done, some fresh bottom paint.
We have both boats hauled out. The catamaran's right over there. And yes, we are getting this boat ready for the giveaway. This is the vessel that carried us through our last chapter, and it's gonna take one of you through your next chapter. And the reason why you should enter the giveaway is because today is my birthday. Well, I mean, by the time you see this, maybe it won't be, but it's June 29th if you were wondering. Anyways, the giveaway goes until July 31st, which is coming up really fast. So if you haven't gotten entered, you can scan this QR code right here or check out the link in the bottom of the description, or go to our website and you can find it on there and get entered.
And the winner gets a free month stay here at Spice Island Marine so you guys can get adjusted, sort out the boat before you take on all the responsibility of boat ownership.
Yes, and we really want to thank you guys for being a part of this whole catamaran series. We know you guys probably have a lot of questions, which is why next Sunday, July 6th at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we are gonna do a live Q&A on YouTube where you can get on there and you can ask us any questions you want about the rebuild or the giveaway, and we're just gonna have a good time and chat it up with you guys.
And as always, we want to give a massive thank you to all of our patrons. Your guys' consistent support every single week really truly makes this journey possible, and we could not be doing this without you guys.
Anyways, we will see you guys next Sunday. Go get entered in that giveaway, and thanks for tuning in to another episode here on Spirit Animal.